right, everybody. So the GM actually brought out an old Dark Sun book, and everyone got really curious because, like, Dark Sun, who's heard of that? And then, much like Scott Pilgrim and the Vegan Police, the D&D Police kicked the door and said we weren't allowed to play that because it's bad, and it's got bad themes in it. So,
because slavery or something.
Slavery and racism, something like that. So they carted away the DM. Yeah, they just threw him in the back of the paddy wagon and he's gone. So, session's canceled.
Yeah.
I just think of
they called the Pinkertons on the GM.
Yeah, they called that's what should have been. They called the Pinkertons on him. I just think of the John Mulaney joke when at the house party when the cop comes in and he's like, "Get the paddy wagon."
Get the paddy wagon.
But yeah, this week, well, actually, I should say, hello, it's me, Isaiah. I'm with Josh. And
I am indeed here.
Yeah, and this week we're going to be talking about the Apocalyptic subclasses from Unearthed Arcana because it caught my eye and brain was smooth this week. So I figured we're just going to take a look at this and see what we got. And
it caught your eye and then solemnly disappointed you?
Some of it did. Some of it really fucking did, dude.
Yeah.
Like 65% disappointed me. But
only 4 subclasses too, which is like not a lot.
A little light, yeah. It's a little light, so we're probably not gonna have too much to say today. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about it because there are some stuff that I did really like, and I have beef. I got a bone to pick with you, D&D and Wizards, and I can't say Mr. Jawcraw or Mr. Perkins because you don't work there anymore, but whoever does still work there, hopefully not that cute Asian lady whose name I cannot remember.
Chelsea Darmus, and she does still work there.
Yes, well, I hope it's not her.
Not Chelsea. Whoa, Mackenzie.
Mackenzie, yeah. I hope it's not her because she seems very nice and is adorable. But whoever it is, hopefully not her. Whoever it is, I got a bone to pick.
Whoever designed it, I mean, it might be her. Okay, I'm going to get into it a little bit right now before we really start.
I don't know what is going on with Wizards, and we've talked about this before pretty much every single time we've done a 2024 UA. But I don't understand this fear to just let the subclass be cool. Just let it do something weird and wild and strong and just make a player go, oh shit, I want to do that. It's always this really cool thing, and then they're like, and you're like, and they're like, and you can only do it once a day. And then you go, wait, but that makes it a lot less cool. And they're like, balance, baby. And I don't really get it. And it's got that bug really bad in this one. I would go as far as to say some of the subclass abilities are close to like 2014 level conservative. You know?
I mean, I'm not really going to gauge whether the conservativeness or not of them, because whatever, I don't care. But, yeah, what the problem you're okay, pause. Before we identify any problems, you should solve the problem you have identified, which is that you're not following or subscribed yet on whatever podcast platform you're currently listening on. Solve that problem first. Then we can talk about D&D's problem.
You done it? Good.
Yeah. What's going on here is D&D, I think, is this is going to sound like a weird comparison, but follow me on the journey a little bit. I think D&D is suffering from a very similar problem that Final Fantasy XIV is currently suffering from. And I don't know if it's hitting D&D in the sales yet. But they have established a system, and I think they've gotten really good at sort of filling in the I don't want to quite say paint by numbers, but like they've gotten really good at operating within the system they have established. And I don't mean system as in tabletop system. I mean system of how they design things, right? They have like some sort of design Bible or something along those lines where they're like, okay, when ability does X, Y, or Z thing, it can happen this many times. And if ability does this, this, or this, or something like this, it can happen this many times. If the ability is tied to this stat, then you need to make sure it can do X, Y, or Z, X number of rounds. Like, they have this system that they've set up because they've been designing 5e a long time, and so they've gotten into the groove. The problem is that they've gotten so comfortable in the system that they are now afraid to really do anything wacky, woohoo, or wild. Or maybe not even afraid. They just don't even really think to do anything wacky, woohoo, and wild because the system that they've set up works. And the reason I compare it to 14 is because 14 is in a similar situation where they started designing everything, particularly with the job design in the game. They started designing everything so that it's very every class has a 2-minute rotation window. And the reason they did that is so that everyone's buffs lines up. And then if everyone's buffs lines up, we know that every class is viable in every fight because everyone's got the same buff window to worry about, and the rotations can fall within this same system. And it led to a lot of people being like, oh, now all the classes feel restricted because you need to make sure that they have a 2-minute rotation that works with everyone else's 2-minute buffs and 2-minute rotations. And then you also can't wiggle the abilities that much because once you pop the job out of that 2-minute rotation, if it's the only job not in that rotation, that job's probably going to be less effective than everybody else. And then it's going to be a problem of it's just not going to use because it's so obviously less useful than the others. And the other thing that 14 did was they started making sure that all jobs in the same role had the same abilities. So every tank has a 30% damage reduction ability. Every tank has a big AoE get my health back type ability. They all have these abilities that if you play them all, you're like, oh, this is just this ability from this, this ability is from this other class. This is just that. In a way, this is getting a little into the weeds, I know, but the Dark Knight's Bloodspiller combo is kind of just Fell Cleaves from Warrior. It's a very similar philosophy into how the job should work. D&D is doing the same thing. Everybody needs to have an ability that does X, everybody needs to have an ability that does Y, and you need to make sure that it fits within this framework. Everyone needs X number of short rest abilities per X number of levels. You know what I mean? They've gotten really rote with the system. And so now the reason that things end up being not cool, as you're putting it, is because if they get too wacky woohoo with it, they're getting outside of that design Bible that they have at this point. And so they're playing it overly safe because they're like, well, the design Bible's been working.
Well, so that's kind of what I mean when I say conservative, right? They're very intentionally restricting how crazy things get because they're like, well, we can't color too far outside the lines, people. Come on.
Yeah, they don't want to break the 2
for a reason.
They don't want to break the 2-minute window.
Yeah, and that's really beginning to frustrate me with 5e.
Yeah, it's infuriating.
I also realized some weird inconsistencies in this UA where they have rolled back the prof mod counter.
No, they rolled that back in 2024 in the player's handbook, pretty much across the board.
They? Okay.
Yeah, they stopped. I mean, it's still there in some abilities, but it is not across the board the way it was for a little while.
Thank God.
No, yeah, that's kind of been less of a thing. Right around when the 2024 playtest stuff started coming out, they started going back to either based on a stat or just a set number, you just get 3 of these a day end discussion. They've been doing a lot more of that. They don't have as many things tied to proficiency bonus, probably because they realized that proficiency bonus goes up to 6, and a lot of the abilities they wanted to make, if you could do it 6 times, it would probably be too reliable on top of homogenizing.
Yeah, I mean, the homogenizing thing, I feel like is probably the thing they were worried about more because
I don't think they're worried about that.
You think so?
No, I don't think they care. I don't think they see homogenizing as a problem. Because if they did, we wouldn't be talking about this the way we're talking about it right now.
Well, no, I would argue that they do a bit, because for a while there, and again, you know, whether or not they were doing it just sort of to see what it was like, you know, when they removed pack magic, they did repeal that eventually, you know?
They did. I don't like... They're worried about overboard homogenizing, sure, but I think some homogenizing across the board to make their lives a little bit easier, I don't think they're too terribly scared of. Or maybe somebody's telling them they have to be that way. I don't know. It's you know, it's kind of that thing, the benefit of homogenizing, right? And this is the same argument that 14 has, or 14 makes, right? The devs make. The benefit of the homogenizing is it lets you design the math really tightly, right? And if you have really tight math, you can kind of very reliably always do what you want, and you will get the outcome you generally want. The downside, of course, to the homogenizing is that, you know, everything feels overly samey, and then players' eyes start to glaze over. And I think this is a really big one. When you homogenize things a lot, that means it's faster to learn. And if it's faster to learn, then you have less of a time investment necessary to feel like you've mastered the system. And once you've mastered the system, you're kind of less inclined to keep using the system, or if you are going to keep using the system, you're going to start using more third-party things, which add in that air of, this is a new thing for me to learn. You know, like, it's that whole issue of, oh, I know how to do this, so like now I'm less interested. Whereas if there's depth to it, you have to spend a lot of time with it to really master the depth. You know what I mean? And of course, casual players don't want there to be a lot of depth. They want to just be able to figure it out. And more hardcore players want there to be depth because they want to be able to sink 10,000 hours and feel like there's still new shit to learn. This is the ultimate fighting game dilemma that's been going on for the past 10 fucking years.
Just 10 years?
10 years recently, yeah, I would say. Right around when Street Fighter V came out, this really started to be a topic.
Interesting.
Street Fighter V. When did Street Fighter V come out? I don't remember off the top of my head.
2016. Oh, it was close.
Almost 10 years. Yeah, Street Fighter V really got this goat going of like, oh, if we make the game more simple or easier to learn, then the casual players will want to play more because they feel like they can actually play properly and they are not as intimidated. What actually happens when you make a game, at least when we're talking about a competitive game, this is a little different because D&D is not competitive, but when you're talking about a competitive game, what actually ends up happening is the good players learn the game really, really fast, and then they absolutely pub stomp the shit out of the not good players, and what happens is the not good players leave just as fast as they were going to because they're just getting their ass beat anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it really solved nothing. If you're curious,
yeah.
The thing you need...
here's the thing. Catering to the greatest common denominator has never worked.
I'm not going to say never. I mean, it depends on it. There's varying degrees of it. But honestly, well, no, I mean, the thing that you need at the end of the day...
Most studies will show that when you cater to the like masses as opposed to just like a general, you got here, some stuff for here, some stuff for here, some stuff for here, it usually does result in everyone being unsatisfied. Because I think...
Well, that's not what we're talking about. That's different. We're not talking about necessarily catering to the masses in the sense of like design. We're talking about trying to open it up so anyone who's interested could potentially get invested.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's kind of one and the same. Opening it up for casual enjoyment does mean that you are stripping it away from hobbyists or enthusiasts a bit because you're more worried about bringing new people in than keeping the people you have.
Sure, I guess. Neither one of these are relevant to what I was... The point, the important crux here is that doesn't solve anything. What the actual solution to the problem is, both for fighting games and for D&D, funny enough, is having other players at the same level playing with the new people. That's what actually solves the problem, right? In a fighting game sense, newer players get invested if they're facing if they're fighting other newer players, because then they feel like they are learning together, and it's not this case of just getting absolutely dick stomped into the ground in 5 seconds. Some people are psychopaths and will get dick stomped into the ground and not care, like me. But most people won't.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not one of those people.
D&D is the same thing in that playing with a really experienced group, or if half the group is hyper experienced even, the newer players are going to feel a little bit intimidated out because the GM's going to be like, okay, do your this and that roll. And the player's going to be like, I don't know what that means. And they're going to be like, Jesus Christ, come on, it's just your fucking basic attack, blah, blah, you know, and then they're going to get annoyed at them because they don't know it. So again, it's the same thing. That large swath of players all at the same level is what keeps the new players coming in. That's what actually helps. And the initial entry, like the gateway needs to be accessible, right? Like you need to be able to get in the door easily, but there also needs to feel like there's an ocean to discover, an iceberg to find, if you will. Mm-hmm. For most people. I mean, here's the thing. Hyper casual players, you're never going to get no matter what. That's why they're hyper casual, right?
Correct.
Like, so, basically, yes, D&D is sort of, they're playing it safe within the lines to try and hit that generic across the board thing with newer players. And like I said, I don't know if it's hurting them yet or not, but I feel like it probably will eventually. If it isn't already.
I think it is. I think it's hurting them already. I
mean, we don't know their financials, so
No, well,
2024 sold really well, so
it did. I think. Well, I don't think it's hurting them necessarily financially yet, but I think it's hurting them reputationally at the moment. Because
yeah, but they don't give a shit about that if they make money. I mean, the designers care. The designers care, but we're not talking about the designers.
Well, so it's one of those things where, reputation and income are sort of linked, right? If D&D gets a bad rap, it gets bad word of mouth. If it gets bad word of mouth, it gets less sales. If it gets less sales, it makes less money. Like, it's all sort of connected. So they might care about their optics less so, but...
Well, what I'm saying is, even if they get a shitty reputation, but they have enough people who don't pay attention still making them money, then they're not going to care, right? Fair enough. If there's a large enough swath of the not online people who are not living and breathing this horse shit the way we do, then they probably won't care. If those people who do live and breathe it manage to get the word out to the more casual people well enough, then they might care, because then it'll probably start to affect the bottom line more. I don't know if that's happening or not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we're at that point or not, or if we're approaching it or what. It's very, we don't know their financials. We know 14's financials, or at least some of them, and we know 14's not doing so hot right now. So,
it's a shame.
Listen, it was basically like Dawn Trail was doomed from the beginning. There's no scenario where the hype of Endwalker ends and then you keep it up. Like, no matter what they did, people were gonna finish Endwalker and then stop playing 14 forever. That there is a percentage of people on this planet that did that because Endwalker finished and got them what they wanted. You know what I mean? Like, there's no scenario where you do this big 10-year crescendo and then you don't lose a bunch of people afterward. And anyone who thought that wasn't gonna happen, such as the C-suite assholes, they're fucking delusional idiots. And I'm sure the devs tried to say that to them, and I'm sure they didn't listen, and then you have to do the back and forth bullshit where you pretend and you schmooze the C-suite to try to make them happy, even though you as a dev know this is not going to go well, blah, blah, Because, like, from an artistic standpoint, as a developer, you have this big crescendo, and you're like, all right, we're going to keep going, but we're going to do something different. We're going to, change it up. From an artistic standpoint, you're like, I know I'm gonna like lose people, but I don't care, right? Like, this is what the art needs, so I'm gonna do it. But from the C-suite assholes who want the money, they don't understand that because they're all zombie robot people with no humanity in their soul. I'm not necessarily saying D&D's quite that far into the shitter, but you know, it's sort of like.
I mean, I think it.
It's in
I
that
think after
territory.
OGL, I think it is.
Like I said,
I think we've hit that point a while ago.
I don't know.
Again,
I don't know.
We can't tell, but
yeah, we don't know.
Every fiber of my being says it is.
We don't know where they're at. And also, I don't think these UAs being boring necessarily is affecting the bottom line, you know? Like, actually, I don't think it's affected the bottom line at all.
Well, it might. You can't say it won't do it at all. It might, right? Because the UAs are just previews of what's to come in source books or adventure modules. So,
but
if people don't have something to look forward to,
the more casual player base is not looking at these UAs. You know what I mean? The percentage of people that look at these UAs is very small.
I don't know if that's true. I would like to see
I'm
like a
pretty
study
sure
on
they
that.
gave us numbers and it's tiny. It would take me too long for me to try and find it right now. But I feel like I remember them giving us numbers and the percent, because they were talking about the numbers when the playtest was going on, and they were saying how the playtest got way bigger reception than any other UA playtest material has ever gotten. And the number that they gave for UA stuff before was like a tiny, I want to say it was like 10% or something like that. It was not a lot. It was not a lot of players. So
10% is quite a lot when you consider worldwide play of D&D. That's I'd say 10% is a lot.
It's an absolute number of a lot, but 10% of the players who play D&D, which is to say 10% of like sales, not that much. You know what I mean? Like in terms of players that already exist, if we're talking about who's giving the company money, 10% looking at the UA is not that much. So I don't think the UAs are moving any numbers around very much.
We have to see how the percentages compound, but fair enough.
Until they get solidified into a book. That's different, obviously. Once they get solidified into a book, you know, whole other story. It's playtest shit. Most people don't look at patch notes. Most people don't look at playtests. You know, it's all that shit. I mean, shit. Think about it yourself. I don't know, but I only look at the only time, like for games, the only time I look at like patch notes or anything like that is for a game that I'm actively into right now or have been deep in the sauce for a long time with. You know what I mean? Like I'm not looking at the patch notes for Conan Exiles right now. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do. So like for me, it's purely a comfort thing. I don't like change typically. So I want to know what's changing and what to be mad at.
You could just live in blissful ignorance and not look.
I cannot. I can't do that.
No, you can though. You literally
No, I can't though.
There's
I
literally
cannot do it.
nothing on the planet stopping you from doing that.
My own mind. It's not how my brain works. Sorry, bud. Can't do it.
Nothing on the planet stopping you.
It's my own brain. Can't do it.
You have control of your own brain.
No, you really. There are studies that say you kind of don't. Your brain is kind of puppeting your weird meat suit.
I'm definitely not getting down this argument right now.
You are just a weird pile of flesh being piloted by anxiety meat. Like all that to say, I kind of know what your general thoughts are going to be. But general thoughts on each of the subclasses?
They're fine.
That's it. You're not nothing a little more specific on each one's. Any ones that stood out to you liked more than others, or?
I mean, we get to specifics when we talk about each one. There's only 4, so they're fine.
Fair enough. I mean, for me,
like, I don't know. The sorcerer did a couple cool things. The warlock made me mad. Gladiator.
I have so many things to say about the warlock. It's crazy, dude. I mean, okay, so I put together a tiny little bulleted list.
I mean, the warlock
general thoughts.
The warlock did my number 1 cardinal sin, so you know.
There's so many. There are so many it did. I like
the give this class a spell they don't normally have, and then just like build the class around it.
Yeah.
Command. There's an overlines on command.
Yeah, I brought that up in my notes.
Which is not even that good of a fucking spell.
No, like not even a little bit.
I mean, it's okay.
General thoughts on each of the subclasses. Circle of Preservation, utterly sauceless. Like,
yeah, boring.
Had
really boring.
some neat ideas presented, but it just fails to capitalize on any of them in like any meaningful way.
It's the meat cube druid. It's just not.
It is. It is literally the meat cube druid. And it could have been so fucking cool. That's what makes me so mad, is that it had the potential to be dope as shit because you get a fucking domain expansion and that's cool as fuck. And yet you get a little healing and then you get a little resistance to fear and you get some movement restriction and some damage and Like, you know what the sad thing is? I'm actively comparing each of these subclasses to Cartographer.
I mean, Cartographer was worse.
And they're all better than Cartographer.
They're all better than Cartographer. But if there
was one that I was like, I'm getting Cartographer vibes off of this, it would be Circle of Preservation. Gladiator was interesting.
Gladiator is probably the best one.
I think it sits... I like it a lot, but it does sit squarely in two camps in my head. On one hand, I do like what it does, and I like that it captures a like showman fighter vibe. I wish it had some more bard-like options, like stuff that Sorcerer King has, but it doesn't. And on the other hand, I do really dislike that its entire kit is Weapon Master effects.
I mean, they're basing a lot of fighter around Weapon Mastery, so like that's on design.
I know, but this is kind of your cardinal sin is similar to mine, where it's like I don't really like basing an entire class or subclass off an outside mechanic, and like, yes, I know spellcasting is technically an outside mechanic. Shut up. It's different, okay? I don't know. I on one hand I was like, oh, it's cool that they're like really doubling down, but then I just imagined several ways that it could go wrong, and I got filled with dread.
I mean, I feel like it makes sense to have a subclass here and there to be really, really emphasized on weapon mastery. I don't know if Gladiator's necessarily the one I would have gone with, but you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, this could just be because I know less about the 2024 rules than the 2014 rules. Like, I spent years studying the 2014 rulebook and playing in bunches of like dozens of games and one shots and all this shit. I just have less understanding of the new rule set, so there is a bit of like friction for me, for sure.
What does that have to do with, what does that have to do with weapon mastery?
Well, not like I haven't read the fighter in a while, so I'm not 100% on how much it actually affects the class or not.
How much what affects the class?
Weapon mastery?
A lot. Do you forget about that? You forget about that ability where the fighter they get 3 weapon masteries for free regardless of what weapon they're using?
Yes, so that I do know, but yeah, like as far as I can tell, none of their core class features do anything other than give them to you. It doesn't make them stronger. It doesn't like key off of them. It's just that you get them.
Well, that's what this subclass does. Because it lets you combo them.
Yes, I get that. But what I'm saying is that getting them is one thing. I find something odd about focusing the entire class around them, again, because they are an outside mechanic, technically. Giving them to you is one thing. Like, giving you the ability to do that is cool. But I don't know. I've got something weird about it. In the same way that I've got like a weird, like there's always been a weird disconnect with Warlock and Eldritch Blast, where it's like, this is just your one thing. It's the same issue I have with Ranger. Like, they're all sort of similar issues in my head.
But they're not the same though, because weapon masteries are not one singular thing. It's a menu of shit you can do.
Yes, it's a subsystem.
As opposed to Eldritch Blast, which is one thing. Like literally one thing. It's one thing, but it's one thing that can be edited and altered and played with invocations. Yeah, but that's not the same as like Eldritch Blast. You can edit what it does, but you're still casting Eldritch Blast. Weapon masteries are, I have a menu of different abilities I can use at different times and do different things when I want, like on command. It's not like you can hot swap your Eldritch Blast or anything like that. It's just whatever invocations you slap on it, you have, but you're still just every turn it's cast Eldritch Blast. Whereas with weapon masteries, it's like I attack and I do this thing with my weapon mastery, and I'm going to use this weapon mastery or this weapon mastery. right? Like that's a pretty important distinction.
I suppose. I don't know. It occupies a similar part of my brain, so I look on it similarly. Moving past the Gladiator, which again, I mostly liked. Defiled Sorcerer, I thought was really interesting. I think it had a lot of potential. And it did, so it plays with a system that I had homebrewed and sort of played with a couple years ago, which is like overcasting spells using hit points as a burnable resource. So that was super cool. But as we said before, it just feels like it could have been more. I just kind of wanted more from it, just kind of push its features a little farther. And then finally, I mean, Sorcerer King. The naming here doesn't make any goddamn sense, and I don't feel like we needed a second Psionic Warlock, but it also, like, kind of isn't a Psionic Warlock.
I was going to say, it's not at all a Psionic Warlock. What?
Well, it uses psionic spellcasting.
Yeah, but that's the one thing it does that uses the word psionic.
Right, but because it's a psionic spellcaster, it's a psionic warlock. Because you're getting into like coded language with, it's not pact casting, it's psionic casting, because they're making that distinction now.
Well, you're still pact cast. You still use pact casting. Like, you're still a warlock. Still use regular warlock casting.
Yes, sort of. It's
no, literally. What? You still use pact magic the same way.
You do, but the way that you cast the spells is different because you don't require components. Like, it shifts it to a different avenue. It's odd.
I don't think the implication was that it's psionic so much as just like a force of will type thing. Yeah, they use the word psionic casting, but there's nothing else about it that implies psionic anything other than the word psionic casting. Words.
That's kind of the issue, right? Is that it very specifically references psionic casting, which is a type of casting, but nothing.
I think they just use that word to get the point across because they've used it in other places, so you kind of know what it means when they phrase it that way. I think you're reading
right, but it does actually have a mechanic. Well, I'm not, though, because it has a mechanical implication.
Yes, I know that. I'm saying I think you're reading too much into the name choice. Like, they could have called it fucking brain casting or fucking, I don't know, will cast or whatever, like soul cast. Like, it could have called it a lot of things.
Right, but they didn't. They called it psionic casting, which is coded language.
Yeah, I think they do a similar thing. I think it was just a case of being too lazy to, like, come up with another name, to be honest. I really think...
I don't know what you want to think. They should have used a different name then. Like, they do a similar thing in the same UA where they talk about, oh, it allows you to critically hit your foes, but you're not actually critting your foes. Well, you're using coded language to describe a non-coded thing.
But the word psionic has no mechanical implication, though.
It does, though.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. There's no mechanic.
Yes, it does.
There's no mechanic in the book that says, if you see the word psionic, that means this, that, and this. That's not a thing.
It is, though. Psionic casting is casting without using verbal or material components.
No, it's just happens. No. See, no. You're flipping the symptom and the cause here. Anytime there is a class that has the ability to ignore the verbal and somatic components or whatever, or the verbal, ignore components basically, they use the word psionic to call, like, as just like a theme, like a naming theme, like a scheme. But there's nothing in the book that says if you see the word psionic on an ability, it means X, Y, and Z. However, there is something in the book that says this is a critical hit. The words critical hit mean X, Y, and Z. So yes, in the case of the Gladiator, them putting the word critical hit in the description was probably a bad idea because that can cause mechanical confusion. Whereas the word psionic does not have any built-in mechanical meaning to it. They just use it in the same place as to stay on brand, quote unquote.
I get what you're saying. I disagree. I believe it absolutely does have a mechanical implication. I even said it before. It has a mechanical implication. Like, yeah,
you can say it all you want. I think you're wrong. Like, I don't think that's the idea. Like, there's a big difference between the player's handbook calls out a specific mechanic with a specific key. Like, there's no keyword, there's no psionic keyword in the game. That doesn't exist. There is a keyword for critical hit, or keywords, but there's no keyword for psionic. There's not like a glossary or a reference or anything. It's not like the word action, which has a very keyword to it, right? It means a very specific thing. Psionic doesn't have that. It's just a theming. Every time they come up with something, it's like, we're staying on theme, so we're going to call this psionic because it's sort of within the brand of the like how we design quote unquote psionic things, but it has no mechanical keyword to it. It's not like in Magic, if something says trample on the bottom, it means a very specific ruling that doesn't exist in this case. And should they maybe have not called it psionic casting because it reads odd given what the subclass is supposed to be? Yeah, it reads a little odd. But I don't think you can assume, like, you can't assume this is why anything based on the name. Like,
this is why I think you
because
can.
They could have called it psionic casting, and it could have been like, this ability lets you cast once a day for free without looking at your target. And they could have just put the name psionic casting on it.
Right, but
like, it would have been the same.
Yes, what I'm saying is that it's sort of creating a common law situation where you reuse the phrasing so much and force it to abide by the same rules each time you use it. And as you keep doing it, the rule sort of builds itself.
Yes, but the
mechanic
design
will build
of the game
itself based on how often
though.
you do it, and they are doing it quite a bit. They've done it quite a bit since psionics were introduced into the actual game with things like the soul knife and all that shit.
Yes, thematically it causes confusion, but mechanically you cannot base any kind of mechanical basis or assumptions off of it because the game is not designed that way. You can't.
We're going to be here forever because I believe me. I disagree.
Let's put it this way. If you're having a rules lawyer argument and you try and use the word psionic as some sort of rules lawyer defense, the designers would say no, that you can't. That's not how you would rule that. It's a general versus specific thing, right? Like, they would be like, no, you can't rule it that way because there's no general rule about psionics. You know what I mean?
Yes, but there are a myriad of specific rules that are creating a general theme. And yes, I'll give you that they are thematic, but it is creating a general through line to which you can assume mechanics should be placed.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's nothing.
That's what you don't assume. Stop assuming. That's what I'm kind of getting at.
But you can though, because you've got precedent. The precedent is what allows the assumption. But you should and shouldn't is kind of irrelevant. If there is precedent, that's the information you have to go off of.
But if you know that there is,
I don't know.
General.
That's kind of the issue. Is that even then?
But you do
now,
know because you know there's nothing
I
in
know
the book
because
that
you
is
just told me. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I didn't know priorhand. I know they're introducing a Scion class. For all we know, that could be the mechanical implication. They can be establishing it farther down the line.
But you
which
do
would
know
retroactively make it mechanical.
Sure, if they release a source book and create a general rule that is, if you see the word psionic, it means this, then retroactively it would apply to things, and then you're in a situation where you have to go back and look at all old stuff, which would be messy, which is why I don't think they're going to do that, because that would be a huge pain in the ass.
And yet they might. Again, we are getting a real, like an official psionic class.
Maybe. We don't know that for a fact. We might be getting a class. But even if we get that class, I don't think they're going to put any kind of general rules about what the word psionic, like, it's not going to become a keyword. I really doubt it. Because that would create such a mess with all of those subclasses they've already made. Like, you'd be beholden to the old shit that you wrote down.
I don't know what to tell you. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like there is a good chance that either could happen.
I'd be fucking shocked if they did that, because that would be stupid. Let's put it that way.
It'd be stupid, but there wouldn't be any, like, I'm not sure what the other recourse would be. If they do make that psionic class, you're hard pressed to go, well, this is how this will work, but all this other stuff doesn't have
to work the same way. No, it could be similar, but you can't. Like, the psionic class basically will have its own specific rules, and then some subclasses that might reference psionics as a theme, do not assume that because the Scion class did it this way, then this class also does it that way. Don't do that.
Well, what they'll likely now I think about it, what they will likely do is they'll do it to a degree, right? They will errata things together. We've seen them do that plenty of times. We're probably just going to get an errata that tells us how to generally think of things. And then, unfortunately, it will be sort of a case-by-case basis, because that is what we've also seen precedent of them doing, even through fully completed books, right? That's what the Sage Advice Compendium is.
I still think that's a really bad idea, and that they definitely should not do that.
Fair enough. I mean, I can't tell you can't have that one, but yeah. Moving on to another thing with terrible naming conventions. Fucking Sorcerer King, literally why?
I mean, I get what they're going for.
But don't call it Sorcerer. Sorcerer is a class.
Oh.
There's no implication thematically in the subclass itself that says this is linked to a sorcerer. It's just a spellcaster. If someone reads Sorcerer King Warlock, you go, wait a minute. Am I a warlock with sorcerer powers? No, you are not.
No,
you are not a sorcerer with a psionic thing,
you're
and bard abilities.
Or
you're enchanter wizard abilities.
You're a warlock with like a commanding presence is the idea, and like commanding magic.
Yeah, should absolutely
it's more like
not.
It should be called like Mage Tyrant.
Yes, Mage Tyrant is literally what I was thinking, because its fucking capstone is called Tyrant.
Yeah, absolute tyranny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it says your pact draws from the power of a monstrous tyrannical force akin to a demigod or an overwhelmingly powerful magic user. Yeah, I don't know. Through your pact, you herald this tyrant's interest in the worlds, channeling their influence and mind-bending psionic power. I don't know. Or maybe call it Psychic Tyrant if you do want to lean into the psionic thing. I don't know if they actually want to lean into the psionic thing. It's a little unclear on that.
So yes, I'll agree with you. It is unclear because they name drop it 3 times across the fucking thing with no abilities that support it except for its spellcasting ability.
I guess they probably do want to lean into the psionic thing. This might make more sense if we knew anything about Dark Sun.
True. I don't know a lot about Dark Sun.
I don't know dick about Dark Sun, but everyone's pretty sure that these subclasses are for a Dark Sun kind of book. So
yes, I read that.
And I do know that Dark Sun has this whole thing where magic doesn't exist anymore, so all of the magic stuff is psionic based. So perhaps that's what they're going. So Sorcerer King might make more sense in the context of Dark Sun.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. I'm assuming a little bit at that point.
Yeah. All of that said, let's get into it. And I think we got to start at, unfortunately, I wrote stupid little taglines for each of the classes, and when Circle of Preservation. But what if we need it later? Because it's all I could think of. I could just think of every RPG player who hoards every item until the end of the campaign, and then you don't actually use those items. Me and every RPG.
I failed to see how this subclass has anything to do with what you just said. What?
Preservation, just hoarding assets.
It doesn't hoard anything though.
No, it doesn't. But it's about preservation is innately about
it's about
keeping
preserving
things.
Land though.
Yes, but in my head, it's just not how it's not how my brain kept translating it, I suppose.
You're stretching on the logic, but okay, sure.
But that being said, you do literally go, this land is my land. I should have named that. Should have been the tagline. This land is my land. Damn it. Damn it. That would have been so good.
Yes.
Fuck.
That would have made more sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're just going to do quick read throughs of each of the abilities and then just give some opinions on them. Starting at the top,
why did you just say that like you're telling the class what the lesson plan is?
That's because it's how we always do the UAs. I figured might as well just give them a quick rundown.
I know, but I don't think you had to describe, we're not giving a lesson plan. It's all right.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Start off at the top with the Circle of Preservation spells. You get Bless, Lesser Resto, Protection from Poison, Sanctuary, Beacon of Hope, Plant Growth, Aura of Life, Death Ward, Greater Resto, and Hallow. It's fine. About what I would expect, you know? Nothing crazy. I do like that Hallow is there. I feel like that's a like criminally underutilized spell. It's not amazing, but it does do some fun, cool things.
I don't really remember what it does.
Hallow, basically, you create an area of land that it works kind of like Magic Circle, where certain effects can't happen within it, demons can't exist in it, possessions can't happen while you're in it. You basically just create a weird little bounded field slash.
So cool spell that never actually comes up in D&D because D&Ds are just about dungeon fucking and monster slapping.
So you can do monster slapping in it, but it requires setup, which you very rarely get in D&D.
Which you basically never have.
Yeah, because 90% of fights are you getting jumped and then smacking the shit out of whatever you're fighting.
Yeah. Or
one of those, that old chestnut.
Or running into the room and jumping each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, prep time.
Its first level 3 ability, Preserved Land. As a bonus action, you can expend a use of your wild shape to fill a 15-foot cube originating from a point on the ground that you can see within 120 feet of yourself with revitalizing energy. The effect lasts for 1 minute or until you have the incapacitated condition, are more than 120 feet away from the cube, or die. Whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the cube, you grant the creature one of the following benefits. Either Bolster, the creature gains temporary hit points equal to 1d4 plus your druid level, or Purify, you end one effect on the creature causing it to have the frightened or poisoned condition. In addition, non-magical vegetation native to the region sprouts on the ground within the cube. This vegetation disappears when the effect ends. As a bonus action on subsequent turns, you can move the cube up to 30 feet to another area on the ground within 120 feet of yourself. I love this ability in theory. I like having a cool little
cube
domain expansion. It really, the only thing I like just about as much as a sicko mode is having a cool little like pocket dimension reality marble thing. And like, yeah, the size is relatively small, methinks, but it's a level 3 spell and it does get bigger at level 14, so that's kind of whatever.
Level 3 ability.
Generally speaking, I like it. It's on brand, it's thematic, it does something neat. I just wish they pushed it farther.
There's something funny about there's no other way to really describe it because you do need to get specific because of how targeting and spells and everything AoE works in 5e, but like calling it a cube, I just imagine like a 3D, like a wireframe of a cube with like plants inside the cube, and then you see as like the tree mesh, like there's like a mesh of like bushes and trees on the inside of the wireframe, and you see as like a tree gets cut in half as it hits the edge of the wireframe.
Yeah, that's exactly how I thought about it too. Something like out of the fucking
like,
Sims.
Yeah, like it's got like a weird vanishing point. Just calling it a cube, like I don't know, 15-foot square area or something. Like I don't know, cube. Like it's the cube of trees.
Yeah. Outside this cube, everything's fucked. Inside your perfect little what is it, vacation destination.
Yeah, like and they always refer to it as your cube. Like they don't call it anything except for the cube. And I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's also funny because I can't help but think of the Asuka memes in Guilty Gear with the cube.
Yeah,
cube upon ye. Just my man's playing Yu-Gi-Oh with the cube. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think my big issue is that I just wish it went a little farther. Like having to choose between 1d4 plus level or, you know, stopping fear. It just let it do both. Just let it be cool. You know what I mean?
I just wish it was more exciting than just like, I don't know.
A d4 plus level. Yeah.
I mean, not even that. It's just temp HP. Like, okay, temp HP. Like, I don't know. I just want. I don't know what I want, but not something more.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool if we got something like it increased your max HP and then you could heal every round.
Increased healing or like resistances to certain damages or I don't know, something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's kind of what I'm saying though, right? It just feels really held back. Like I use conservative a lot of my notes, but like what I mean is just held back.
I wouldn't even call it held back. It's just kind of uninspiring.
Well, like, that's what I think it could be. Like I think it I don't think it's uninspiring. I think you read it and go, oh, this could be super cool. And then when you read what it actually is.
I didn't even think that.
Oh, no. See, I thought like, oh, this could be super neat, really fun way of controlling the battlefield and like shifting your way through like poisonous terrains. Like it had a lot of fun stuff, like in theory, but it in practice just doesn't hold up. And like, yeah, it's a level 3 ability, but I feel like even a level 3 ability should be relatively strong.
I don't know. For me, the kind of basic sniff test is, do I read the subclass and get like an idea for a kind of character I can play? And I read this and went, I literally have nothing for this. No. You know, like there's nothing about it. Like if I wanted to play a druid who is all about like, oh, we need to like cure and help the land and shit, I'd probably just play a Circle of the Land. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing about this that's like getting me hyped up on the theming or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it is kind of interesting that I think it is kind of odd that this one doesn't really feel like it has a niche to protect.
I think this is one of those, the niche makes more sense in Dark Sun situations.
Probably, yeah. I mean, with that in mind, sure, but then it's one of those ones where it's like, you know, if you're playing a Dark Sun game, maybe make it so that there's only one druid and then you can only be this subclass or something like that, you know? To really make it feel like it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like if there is no vegetation, you can force vegetation to grow, which could give you stuff like food.
Well, Dark Sun is very deserty, if I remember correctly, so yeah.
Yeah. After that, yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it just inspired nothing for me.
Fair enough. After that, still at level 3, you get Student of Preservation. Your studies have improved your understanding of the order and resilience of nature, granting you the following benefits: frugal casting. When you cast a druid spell, you can cast it without material components, except material components that are consumed by the spell or have a spell cost. Additionally, whenever you cast a druid spell that requires a material component that is consumed by the spell, there is a 10% chance that the component isn't consumed as part of the casting. And then you get a tool proficiency with artisan tool of your choice. I don't know. What does this do? I feel like in a lot of words, it doesn't do anything.
What do you mean, what does it do? It makes it so you don't have to worry about material components.
Except you do, though.
No.
Yeah.
They don't.
If it's consumed, this ability doesn't work. If it costs something, the ability doesn't work. And if it does cost something, there's a 10% chance that it doesn't have to cost anything. Like
no, I feel like you're misremembering how the material rules work. Most spells have a material component requirement.
Right, which means you need a focus or materials. Yes, I know.
Yeah. So it's just saying you can ignore that. So you don't need a focus and you don't need a component pouch of any kind in order to cast those spells.
Right, but if it consumes something, or you have to pay for it,
which is a small percentage of spells, but yeah.
Yes, but they're the only ones people give a shit about. Like, casting with your hands free is fine, except you're almost never going to be completely barehanded. You're going to have a weapon in one hand or something, which would limit your spell casting no matter what. So you would then use it to,
if you have a spell that's like verbal and material, for example, you can just say it. You can just do the verbal, and then you could have like a shield and a weapon or something like that. Right? Like I'd have to go. It depends on what I don't remember what spells do and don't have like verbal versus material and all that shit. You know, depends on what spells druids have and everything, the degree of usefulness to it. But like, if you had a spell that had a somatic component and a material, somatic, you still need your hand in some capacity. So, well, then you get into this weird. So this is also that weird thing where if technically rules is written, if a spell has a somatic only component and you have a focus in your hand, you have to put your focus away to do the somatic component, because the focus only covers the somatic component if the spell also has a material component. So that's some weirdness. So it's really, the point of it would be if a spell has verbal and material, then you can ignore the material and just verbal it. That's the main scenario where it's going to come up.
You can check how many spells have just verbal and material.
Kind of a lot, actually. For Druid, kind of a lot.
Let's see. I'm checking now.
Wait, it's not. Hold on, wait. No, I need to.
No, almost none.
Oh, no, not that much.
Fairy Fire, Healing Word, Earthbind, Warding Wind, Aura of Vitality, Guardian of Nature, Eos, and Whirlwind. That's it. So it doesn't actually do much, and the one thing it does do, you really only have a 10% chance of pulling off.
Yeah.
Dog shit.
I mean,
I'm sorry, there's no other way to put it. This is a dog shit ability. Like,
I mean, this just goes back to the whole verbal somatic material thing being a shitty design anyway. That should get
correct.
Reworked anyway.
I just feel like maybe they should do what every other RPG has done and just say, generally speaking, you can assume that they have a mix of these things and just leave it at that. Just leave it up to the table.
A mix of what things?
You know, you use how does Fabula put it? Like, casting spells requires a level of like chanting magical words, using
a free hand and chanting, basically.
Yeah,
not even a free hand, a free, like, your hands need to be not tied up.
Yeah,
is effectively.
I feel like 99% of the time too, components just get ignored.
They do, yes.
So just get rid of them. Like, again, we've talked about this before. This is like a weird holdover that they're like, no.
Components get ignored because they're fiddly and noodly. There is a system out there that you could design for a component system that is not fiddly and annoying and is more intuitive, and then people would use it. You know what I mean?
Right, but I think. Well, so I don't think it would work with D&D. I think it's been too long. I think it gets ignored too much, and I think there's just a taste in people's mouth of it being annoying and not worth doing. So I think it is a little bit too late for D&D.
I think there's a universe where if you designed a good system, people would. I'm not going to try and do this on the fly, but like, I think there's a universe where you could design a more intuitive system that, because here's the reason they don't want to get rid of it, right, is because the vibe of the wizard pulls the bat guano out and like smashes it in his hands and then turns it into a fireball. Like, that's kind of a fun, cool fantasy vibe, right? Like, they don't want to get rid of that vibe. So if you just say, oh, we're just going to ignore it completely, then you lose that. But the way it is now is, overly weird and noodly. I feel like it probably is some kind of a medium. I mean, part of the problem too is that the rules for like putting a weapon away or taking a weapon out or swapping weapons are also fiddly and noodly. So it would help a lot too if, like, with Pathfinder, okay, put a weapon away at one action point, right? And then cast the spell, another action point, that, like, so there's some of that going on too. But like, they don't want to lose the vibe, but it's not good the way it is. But I feel like there's a universe where you could figure it out. It would just require some forethought. I mean, probably, honestly, just treat it like ammo is probably ammo in some sense. Like, you have 5 spell casts worth of component stuffs. And like, to cast, if a spell requires component stuffs, then it reduces your ammo of component stuffs by 1. You know what I mean? Like, something like that, where you abstract the ammo a little bit, but you still pay credence to the fact that it's there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that's spitballing. So, like, and if you're curious, what Fabula says is, you must be free to move your body. You can be holding items in your hand as long as you can move your arms. You must be able to speak and pronounce the invocation. Mm-hmm. That's what Fabula says. So you can't be tied up or gagged.
Yep. I think that works perfectly fine. I think that should just be the standard across the board for D&D at this point.
I mean, I don't know. I do like the idea of components. I love the concept of components. I love the feeling of components.
Right, but the system as it is, as we've said, is weird and noodly and frankly not really worth the effort.
Yeah, but I don't think it has to be, is what I'm saying. Like, I think there's a universe where it could work.
It could, but...
They just got to put that work in.
Yeah, but they're not gonna, as we've seen. As we've literally seen by them going, well, we're just going to scrap anything that we think doesn't work. Clearly, as it is now, mechanically.
They could. It would just require a 6E, you know?
I don't think they would do it even then. I'm going to be honest.
I don't know if they would, but they could.
They could, but again, I'm not like, yes, they could do it. I don't think they will, though. Their design philosophy has just been...
It is worth pointing out we also have a whole new crop of lead designers at this point, so things are kind of up in the air.
True, but we also don't know necessarily that it was the old designers who are doing the slash and burn style of design.
We don't know who's doing what, so I don't know.
So it could be the new people.
I have no idea.
Moving on past that, we have improved preservation. Your preserved land gives you becomes more powerful in the following ways. 4 to 5 protectors. While inside the cube created by your preserved land, you and your allies gain a bonus to Constitution saving throws equal to your Wisdom modifier, a minimum of +1, and reject desecrators.
I do kind of like that one.
I do like that one, yeah. That one's pretty effective. Reject desecrators, which is just a wild name. Whenever the cube created by your preserved land enters an enemy space, and whenever an enemy enters the cube or ends its turn there, that enemy makes a Wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, and on a failed save, the enemy takes 2d10 radiant damage, and its speed is halved until the end of your next turn as new growth rises to hinder it. On a successful save, the enemy takes half as much damage only. An enemy makes the save only once per turn. So you get some good damage, and you can slow their movement, which...
You know what else?
Not super effective, but it's fun as a ribbon.
You know, okay, two things here. One, slight backtrack to the components thing. I also feel like part of the problem with material components that actually cost gold is the ones that cost money are not effective enough to justify their cost. Like, if they're going to cost money, they should be better spells than they are. You know what I mean? I feel like they should be buffed up. They should, like, legend lore should do way more. You know? Yes,
I mean, you also run into the issue where it's not that a thing costs gold, the material costs gold, which means you have to find a place to get that material, which means that if it's, you know, your GM is someone who will not present you those materials,
which is also a thing you could streamline, because you could do it like Fabula. Instead of saying a specific material, you could just say material points, right? Inventory points, right? You could just do that. Just saying.
Absolutely. Or to make it cost gold. Just be like, you got the money?
Or just cost...
the gold just evaporates into the ether. Like,
well, not necessarily into the ether, but say you have to go to a shop and spend X amount of gold on various magical implements, you know, something like. I don't like evaporate into the ether. That feels weird to me.
Well, so here's the thing. That's the same issue, right? If you're saying, oh, I have to go buy this much worth of X thing, is the same as saying, well, you have to go buy a diamond worth this much.
No,
the DM can just...
Because the difference is I have to buy X amount of magical-esque components, and those can be whatever the DM allows or whatever I want, versus I just throw gold into the air like a Final Fantasy potion and it evaporates. I don't like that idea.
Why? I don't see why. The
just feels wrong.
The cosmology of D&D
is off.
Clearly like money just as much as everybody else. Apparently the afterlife in D&D is capitalist. So
if you're a cleric to like a money god and that is your material components, in that scenario I'd be fine with it. But if you're like a wizard, I don't know, I feel like you just Final Fantasy throwing gold into the ether and then it just turns into a spell. I don't like the way that feels. I still want you to have to like go to the magic shop or whatever a little bit.
They literally, you know that there's precedent for this. In one of the Neverwinter Nights games, you have to spend gold to use the magic forge, and you can ask the blacksmith, why the fuck am I paying you? I'm the hero of this thing. I need this for free.
He melts the gold.
To make the magic, yeah. Let that happen. Fuck it. Run it. I don't care.
Again, though, the melting the gold down with the blacksmith, you're still going to the blacksmith. What you proposed was I literally reach into my pocket and yeet it into the air, and then Yojimbo just appears. Don't like that vibe.
I'm all for Yojimbo just showing up and doing my chores if I can pay for it.
I don't like just throw money into the air and then it turns into dust. Like, that feels weird. That feels off. That feels not tonally.
Any weirder than a diamond?
Yes, because a diamond is like a material, physical thing that like you know could describe as doing all sorts of weird like magical. Like tonally, it just feels off for D&D for me to just like toss some gold out and it just evaporates.
I don't know. Like you're getting into the semantics of gold is a hyper valuable precious resource to people for reasons.
I'm just talking about the tone, the vibes, the feels.
I think both work. I think they both work. I think gold and diamonds, it occupies a similar brain space of a really expensive thing that's fucking worthless, practically speaking.
I guess, but like I want to, I don't know. I also want to just describe like the wizard goes to the magic shop and has to buy bat guano or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I guess
buy preserved bat guano from the weird magic shop guy. Just feels better.
If it feels better for you, man, I'm not finna yuck your yum. Fuck it.
But anyway, more importantly, that wasn't even the point I wanted to make. You fucking derailed me again. God damn it.
Look, you do it to me as much as I do to you.
Stop arguing with me about shit that I'm not even trying to argue about when I'm trying to argue about a different thing. Let me get to my main point before you start arguing.
You're the one who brings up the argument.
No, but I wasn't trying to argue about the gold thing. That was less important. The thing I was going to say is the thing that I feel like 2014 did more that I feel like 2024 is now doing less is flavor ribbon abilities. So like this improved preservation thing, right? Where it's like reject desecrators, right? So you get to throw out some damage, enemy makes a wisdom save, and you reduce speed. That's all well and good. I would also like it if there was one more little ribbon ability that was like, also, if somebody tries to kill plants or poison the earth in this cube, they're unable to. Like just something that's like mostly fiction based. That's not like a inherent mechanical thing, but still adds to telling you what the ability does. Like give me my hard numerical combat effective effect, but then also give me my like flavorful fictional effect in addition to that. So like the combat effect is it does 2d10 radiant damage, and then the fictional effect is if somebody tries to poison the earth within the cube, it just doesn't work. It's like purged immediately. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like 2014 did that just a smit, not a lot. Don't get me wrong, not a lot more. But I feel like 2014 did that just a little bit more. I just would like
it did like a little bit, but not
a little bit, not a ton, and I would love more of it. I just want more of that, like, because if we're gonna do the ribbon ability thing, make the ribbon. Because look, we all know D&D is a combat game, right? So if you make an ability that's not combat relevant, then you can kind of make it do whatever you want because it's not gonna throw the balance off or anything that much, right? So let it go crazy. Give me some weird fictional ribbon abilities, the fucking...
Well, I think that speaks to a different issue that D&D has, which is we don't want to tell you how your thing might look because then you might not want to do it.
I'm not even saying tell you how it looks, just tell you what kind of weird effects it could have.
Right, but I think D&D is too afraid of that. I think they're terrified of doing it.
Give me something vague and evocative.
D&D doesn't do that.
Give me vague and evocative. I know D&D doesn't, but they should.
They should, but they don't.
All games should. There's a lot. This is not a D&D only problem. There's plenty of other games that I feel like could do that more.
Agreed.
Shit, Fabula could do it.
I think Fabula does it pretty well.
Nah.
How do you figure?
Fabula's still really, really, really combat primary. Like they could still have a lot more of that like fictional ribbon type shit on there.
Fair enough. Moving on to the level 10 ability, Facilitated Restoration. You can cast Restoration or a Greater Restoration without expending a spell slot or requiring spell components. You can use this feature to cast a spell in this way a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, minimum of once, and you can regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. This is great. This is a powerful ability. It's good. I don't really see a reason why you'd ever cast Lesser Resto over Greater, especially when it doesn't require spell components, which also would mean spell components that require the material. But go off, I guess.
You can cast with... Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at the two spells. There might be some slightly different wording that would be relevant.
Maybe. It's strong as fuck, though. I'll give you that.
It's kind of boring,
I do.
Though.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I feel like you could have easily tied this in with the cube. In my head, I just feel like make it so that while you're in the cube, you don't need any materials for spells, just in general.
Oh. So the reason is because the two of them do very different things in 2024. Oh. So Lesser Resto will cure blind, deaf, and paralyzed or poison. Greater Resto will cure 1 level exhaustion, charmed or petrified, a curse, including attunement to a cursed item, any reduction of ability score, any reduction of hit points. So Greater Resto does not cure the conditions of blind, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
What the fuck? Okay. All right, game.
That's why.
All right, game.
I don't remember if it... I'm going to check the 2014 version.
It used to, yeah. It used to just be basically everything.
Nope. No, it did not. It's always worked that way. 2014 version was exactly the same. It did not cure blindness, deafness, or paralyze or any of that other shit. Yeah, no, the two spells are identical. Well, that's why.
Interesting. I just feel like the Greater Resto should do everything that Lesser does, and then more. Because it's greater, but sure.
I mean,
I don't know. Anyway.
It's a reason to keep the two versions of the spell in the game.
Well, the reason why you'd keep the earlier one is you get it earlier on and you can cast it potentially more often, but it's one of the things where it's like, well, let's say if you could make Greater Resto to be that, like, if it has any number of those things, it just wipes them all in one shot. You know what I mean? You could be blind, deafened, petrified, paralyzed, and incapacitated with 5 levels of exhaustion. If you spend that 100 GP, you're clean.
I guess.
I brought this up later in my notes. Maybe my sense of balance for 5e is fucked because I haven't played it in a while, and like I'm just hitting the point where it's like just hack off all the weird restrictions. Just let players do wacky, wild shit. And like, is that gonna fuck balance? Yes, but I'm also getting to the point where like, fuck balance. Like, who cares? You know? I don't know. I guess I'm in a fuck it mood recently, and I'm like, I don't need this shit. Fuck it.
I mean, it's true you haven't played D&D in a while, so like, you know.
I also have not once. No, that's not true. We did run 2024 rules. Done it a couple times, actually. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I just don't remember them that well.
You didn't run it.
Not run it, so run with it. Like, we have run games using those rules, and I have used those rules.
We played with it a little bit. Not much, though.
We did a little, like the second half of Matt's campaign and a couple one-shots.
Basically.
Yeah.
A couple one-shots? What one-shots are you talking about? I don't remember doing any one-shots.
Didn't we?
No. Are you just making up games that didn't happen?
No, I'm thinking of something I did with Luna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you did. I didn't.
I think I was with Luna.
I don't know.
I'm gonna assume I did something with Luna, but
okay.
I don't know. He listens to the podcast. He can fact check me later.
Okay.
After that final capstone ability, we get Sacrosanct Land. The size of your cube increases. The size of your cube
sucks fat dicks.
It does. Created by your preserved land increases to 30 feet. In addition, when a creature you can see in the area of your preserved land is hit by an attack roll, you can make a reaction to half the attack's damage. It's not good. No, I like.
So boring.
I wish it was just better. Just why not half all incoming damage? Why is it just attack rolls? Why are you limiting it to a reaction? Why?
I'm not even talking about mechanically. I'm saying, like, flavor-wise, it's just a fucking boring ass ability.
Right,
like, mechanically, it's decent. It's all right.
I don't even think it's that good. Like, you get a once react. Like, yeah, your area gets bigger. That's cool. But you get a once per turn half the damage.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's
on the area that you're sort of claiming as your domain. Like,
similar to what Bard can do.
Yeah, but I think bards could be cooler too.
I think it should be not just for attack rolls, probably for any incoming damage. But other than that,
I don't know. I think it should just be just let it be an area of affecting. Let it be an emanation of halving incoming damage.
I don't know. Permanent halving is really strong.
Like, yeah, but I don't know. It's level 14. You're 3 levels away from epic level. Your GM's gonna be throwing ridiculous shit at you at this point anyway. You're gonna be fighting dragons and whatnot. Like, fuck it.
Yeah, but you can't just completely shit roll everything the DM does.
No, I'm not saying you'd be able to shit roll it. Like, you know, they're making an
damage
effort.
permanent because think about it, if it's a 30-foot cube where all incoming damage is half no matter what, the players are going to turtle up in that cube and they are going to be fuck busted. Like all incoming damage is half no matter what. That is fucking OP. If everyone just turtles up in the cube, that's fuck busted overpowered. And the monsters the enemy doesn't really have a good reliable way to get him out of it either, or turn the ability off. There's no concentration or anything. Nah, that's too much.
There's an argument to be made about maybe you can make it concentration, or maybe you can make the half damage part of it concentration. You can use your concentration to buff your ability, but maybe you can't like go into a wild shape or something like that. There are ways you can balance it out, but to make it cooler, but I don't know. I just think it could be a little, just make it more. Or again, maybe just keep it to attack rolls, but make it any attack rolls. Just all of them across the board.
I don't know. It's a lot.
I don't know what else it is, though.
I feel like you're discrediting how much half damage on everything is.
Right, but when you compare it to half damage on one thing,
one attack
as your capstone, like that's shit.
Your subclass
capstone. You know what I mean? The final thing that makes your subclass cool, you get a once per round reaction. Like, come on.
Somebody wants
I think
to be
that's
OP.
a little more. Shrug. I don't know. I don't care. Up next, we got Gladiator. I agree with you. Oh, sorry. Gladiator tagline. Are you not entertained? I am. What is it? Maximus Perseus Meridius. I think this was probably the best one. It's got the best vibes. I think it has the most fun being what it is. Not, we're gonna sort of not bring up the weapon mastery thing that we talked about earlier. We talked about it enough. But yeah, I think for what it is, I think it has fun with what it is. I think it's got fun flavor, and I like it. I like it a lot. Could it be better in some ways? Yeah, but I think it's cool. I think like its main ability, brutality, very neat. It's a long one, so buckle up. Shaped by the intensity of the arena, you've learned to execute brutal martial moves. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack roll using a melee weapon, you can add one of the following brutality effects of your choice. You can do this a number of times, equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a short or long rest. The first one, Bleed, you can activate the Sap Mastery property in addition to a different mastery property that you're using with that weapon. And the target takes extra damage equal to your charisma modifier to a minimum of 1. The extra damage's type is the same as the type of the weapon, same as the weapon's type. You get Bluff. You can activate the Vex Mastery property in addition to a different mastery property you're using with that weapon, and you have advantage on the next saving throw you make before the end of your next turn. Finally, you get Stumble. You can activate the Topple Mastery property in addition to a different mastery property you're using with that weapon, and on its next turn, the target can only make an action or a bonus action, not both.
It's a pretty strong ability.
Good. It's pretty strong, yeah. I mean, using 2 at once is pretty solid, and it's got some fun little like tail end stuff that you can do. The extra damage, the advantage on saves, and then the like limiting turns. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
It does feel limiting turns on top of the topple, like you can activate the Topple Mastery and
Yeah.
That's the other thing too with the Gladiator. It's like it's not just using the weapon masteries, it is making them better.
Yes, it's making them actively better, yeah. This one I'm like, I don't think this could be. I think this is perfect. It's strong. It will feel good to use, and like, yeah, you're limited by how many times you can do it, but like, so it's pretty good. I think that's fair.
Knock them prone, and then they can only take an action or a bonus action next turn. Like,
yes,
pretty good.
While doing extra damage.
On top of the fact, you could also, what is it, sap or slow, or what's the 3 that the fighter gets? Because like base fighter gets 3 they can use for free later.
Yes. I think it's sap, slow, and
tactical master. Push, sap, or slow.
Yeah, push. I was gonna say shove, but
so like you could prone them and slow them, and then just be like, "All right, I'm gonna walk away now."
Yeah, you just do. I wash my hands of this madness and walk away.
Like, what you gonna do, little bitch? Crawl towards me?
What do you mean I got nerfed? What the fuck am I gonna do? Not win?
Not win. Yeah.
At level 3, you also get combat theatrics. You've honed your combat skills to entertain devastating opponents and dazzling onlookers. You gain the following benefits: athletic air. Whenever you make a dexterity, acrobatics, or strength athletics check, you gain a number equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1. Bonus proficiency, you gain proficiency in one of the skills of your choice: acrobatics, athletics, deception, intimidation, or performance. It's a good ribbon. Not bad. The one thing I do have with this subclass is that you are relying on a tertiary skill for the subclass stuff, which means that it's never gonna, like, they're never gonna be super high in their number.
What you talking about, Willis?
So this whole subclass requires on charisma as a tertiary skill to do all its fun shit, as opposed to strength and dex, which is typically what the fighter runs with. So you will have to build your character accordingly.
Yeah, but you could do a dex charisma. That's not that hard.
You could do a dex charisma, but that, like, it's one of the things where it would limit what kind of weapons you can use and so on and so forth. It's just a thing you have to keep track of.
But I think having a charisma based fighter's fun though. Like, I don't want them to all be strength and dex, you know? Like,
no, you're right. Like, so I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a thing that you will have to keep track of. If there was a downside, it's just another thing to keep track of. Not that it is bad.
But that's a passive thing. It's not an active thing to keep track of. You just gotta do the math a little bit up front and consider it, you know.
Fair. At level 7, you get.
I'm always of the opinion if the math that you have to do is very front loaded, but you only really do it once or every once in a while, then it's not a big deal if you have to do a little extra work. You know, like, excessive amounts of math or like figuring something out is only annoying if you have to do it all the goddamn time. If you only do it once or twice and then you're good, like, less of a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Like, if I have to, you know, if I'm playing the video game and I have to open my character sheet every 10 minutes to figure out what the hell new ability or whatever I'm picking up is, that's annoying. If I do it every 2 hours, significantly less annoying.
Fair enough. At level 7, you get Flourish Parry. You've learned to stylishly counter blows from your opponents. When an enemy hits you with a melee attack roll, you can use a reaction to add your charisma modifier to a minimum of 1 to your AC against the attack, potentially causing the attack to miss. There is a addendum add-on to this called Flourish Counter. If this reaction causes the attack to miss, you can retaliate with a powerful counterattack as part of the same reaction. Make an attack roll with a melee weapon against the triggering creature. If this attack hits, you can use one of your brutality effects on the target without expending a use of that feature. Once this counterattack hits, you cannot use this feature again or to make another counterattack until you finish a long rest. You can also restore your use of this counterattack by expending a use of your second wind, no action required. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I love that one. The counterattack is very fun.
Counterattack's fun. I wish you could do it more. Make it a short rest or a couple times per short rest. Like once per long seems kind of mean, but you also get the second wind, so you can get it back.
I was gonna say plus the second wind, so you can get it back pretty reliably. Because you get
you're getting one per short rest, and
well, at level 7 you have 3. You have 3 second winds at level 7, plus the 1 per long, so you can use it 4 times at level 7.
Okay, so that is a bit better.
Yeah, and then you regain, so you can regain second winds on a short rest. So like, that's a pretty solid one. I would, maybe like a maybe 2 per long rest, maybe, but still. And also it gets upgraded because you get the next ability, the Boulder Brutalities. So like, basically, if you parry and counterattack a dude, it's gonna be like you're fucking hitting them with a big smack.
True. Yes, for Boulder Brutalities, you just get more brutality options. Rive allows you to activate Cleave. In addition, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the additional attack made as part of the property's activation. Rush, you get the push mastery option. You can immediately move up to your speed without provoking opportunity attacks, and then you get stagger, which is slow. In addition, the target has disadvantage on its next saving throw it makes before the end of its next turn. Pretty good. Level 15, you get Brutal Resurgence. Whenever you use your second wind to regain hit points, you can regain and spend a number of
the upgraded. Wait, what?
For Boulder Brutalities?
Yeah, did you just go through all three of them really, really fast? Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do, because they like. I just don't want to say the word master property again. The words master property again, because I have to say it 6 more times and I just don't want to do it.
What?
Because you have to say the cleave mastery property in addition to the different mastery property. I had to say it 6 times previously. I just don't want to say it again.
Okay, well now I'm confused, but whatever, continue.
Okay. Level 15, you get your Brutal Resurgence. Whenever you use your second wind to regain hit points, you also you regain expended uses of Brutality. You also regain expended uses of Brutality whenever you use your Action Surge, which means you're going to be using it a lot more, which is good. Let's see, at level, what is it?
Yeah,
how many second winds do you get at 15th level?
How many second winds? It's still just 1. No, it's not.
Second wind?
I'm thinking of it. I don't know what I was thinking of. At 15th level, you have 4.
4? Okay, so assuming that, let's just assume that you built yourself really well. You rolled some good stats. You got a +5 to your charisma.
I was confusing second wind with Action Surge.
Action Surge, yeah. So you'd get 10 uses of Brutality, because you're going to get 1 with each second wind and 1 with the Action Surge, so 10 uses. Yeah, I mean, that's plenty. I'll have to be like, yeah, that's plenty of uses. I can't imagine you're using 10 of those in any given fight.
And then at level 7,
day.
And then at level 17, you get a second use of Action Surge. So
yes, and if you short rest, that number would jump back up
a lot
by another 10, which would give you 20. And if you short rest,
you can use
God forbid, you've just got a party of warlocks and you keep short resting.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
You'll be absolutely fine. Yeah, you're good. Finally, you get Mutilate. When you hit a bloodied creature with an attack roll, you can attempt to critically injure it. This is the thing I had problems with. The target must make a Constitution saving throw, DC 8 plus your Charisma modifier plus proficiency bonus. On a failed save, the target suffers the following effect. Maimed. If the target takes the attack action, it can only make 1 attack. Sluggish, if the target's speed is halved and has a -2 to its AC. These effects last until the target regains hit points. Once a target fails a saving throw against this feature, you cannot use it again until you finish a long rest. If you had a weapon of certain death, which means it can't regain hit points while you're hitting it, that would be really fucking mean.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Even if you don't have a weapon... Even if you don't have a weapon of certain death, there's a lot of enemies you're going to be fighting that will not have any ability to regain health.
Yeah. So they're just cooked.
If they don't have some kind of spellcaster with them or whatever, you're fighting like demons or some shit, they're not going to regain health. They don't have anything to do so. So like, that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
That one's like a pretty solid capstone ability.
Let's see. Do I have any nods? So I wrote that it was lackluster. I feel like I must have misread it, or maybe I didn't fully understand it. But no, I'd say it's pretty good. The critically injured thing, that they need to change that wording. That needs to be changed.
Brutally injure, maim them, something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the word critically injure.
They do say critically injure as opposed to critical hit. Like, it is different verbiage.
Yes, it's different verbiage, but it is still coded language, which.
It's not really. I mean, the keyword is critical hit. It's not where. So the difference is critically, and then the second word is injured. So like, it's different enough. It's different enough. I don't think that many people. It was
similar enough to where it confused the shit out of me.
I don't know. Fucking read forehead. Like, I don't feel like that many people are gonna get confused by that one. Like, yeah, it probably should be brutally injured or something like that. But, don't think it's that bad.
I don't know. I'm not trying to ad hominem it, but for me, it was bad enough to where I'm like, just change the word critically. Just say brutally or severely, just anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely put another word in there and it wouldn't change it that much.
After that, we get the defiled sorcerer tagline, defile. They use the word defile a lot in this one, and they should. That's what the class is about, but they do use it enough to where I laughed by the amount of times they used it.
maybe it's just because the game that's coming out, but like the defiled sorcerer just made me think of the Cenobites, which is definitely not what they're going for, but like, just where my brain went.
There's a Hellraiser game coming out?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
How, is it just like a Dead by Daylight game?
No.
How do you fucking play?
Talk about it later, but yes, there's a Hellraiser game on the way. I will show you I'll send you the trailer.
Okay. Level 3 ability, Defile and Empower. Oh god, this is a long one. Once per turn, when you roll damage for a spell you cast using a spell slot, you can siphon your own energy into the spell to empower it. Roll a number of your unexpended hit point dice. Just call them hit dice. Up to a number equal to...
They officially changed the name to hit point dice.
Oh, that's gonna fuck me up. Roll a number
because people were confused what they meant by hit dice, because people thought hit dice meant like to hit something. They weren't thinking of hit points, so they specified that it was related to your health and called them hit point dice.
All right, if that's a big enough fucking problem for them to change, critical injure is enough for them to change that shit. That is perfect example of coded language right there.
But here's the thing, both are using the word hit. Critical versus critically and hit versus injured are different words. In the case of the hit point example, they both started with the word hit. You know, like it's a little closer. Like there's a closer relation. I'm just saying, you know.
What? It's fine.
What are you confused about? Hit point dice.
The other one also dice. Both start. No. You said they both start with the word hit. Both in the other situation start with the word critical.
No, one is critical and one is critically. That is a different word.
It's a derivation of the same word.
But that is relevant when you're talking about game mechanics. A different tense of a word is relevant. It's also not capitalized, by the way, and they capitalize it. It's always capitalized if it's a mechanical function. So there's that too.
Yes, but you could argue typo for something like that.
Maybe.
Anyway, roll a number of your unexpended hit point dice up to a number equal to half the level of the spell slot expended. Roll up minimum of 1 dice. And add the total number rolled to 1 damage roll of the spell. Those hit point dice are then expended. Then you get lifesteal. Instead of drawing on your own life force when you use this feature, you can try to steal life from another creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. That creature makes a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC. Creatures that have immunity to the exhaustion condition automatically succeed on this save. On a failed save, in place of rolling your hit point dice, roll a number of the creature's unexpended hit point dice up to a number equal to half the level of the spell slot expended, round down to a minimum of 1. You then add that total. Oh my god. You then add that total rolled to 1 damage roll of the spell and whose hit dice are expended for the creature. Once a creature fails the save against lifesteal, you can't use lifesteal again until you finish a long rest unless you expend 3 sorcery points, no action required to restore use of it yourself. I think this ability is super cool. I love this. My only beef is let you just roll up to spell slot number. I really want them to push the risk reward here. So let you just throw out the biggest numbers for your spells, because if you're out of hit, if you're out of hit point dice,
you can't regain health on short rest.
Exactly. Yes. Let me risk it for a biscuit. I feel like they did this to make it so that you don't kill yourself by accident, as like less so than balance to the game.
I mean, there's no way for you to kill yourself. It doesn't do direct damage.
No, but like to soft lock yourself into a death state where it's like, well, I have 2 hit points after this fight. We don't have the healing or resource or anything like that. We have to rely on a rest. I can't rest.
Well, you can, just won't. You just can't heal.
You can't heal, so you can't.
And there's other options for healing.
Yes, but like at lower level, maybe not as much.
For the one where you burn your own hit point dice, I would say, yeah, sure, you can let the person go up to equal to spell level. I think the life steal where you get it from someone else, though, I think it makes sense to limit that one.
I agree. No, I'm with you there, 100%. Don't do it for other people. But if I'm the only one at risk, let me do as much as I want, up to spell level.
But I think it is also just a case of D&D doesn't want you to output. They don't like. They try to avoid the absolutely ridiculous Nova damage. You know, like in a single attack type situation, especially with 2024, they've been trying to avoid that more.
I think, yes, I know they
hence,
are.
Hence Divine Smite changes and stuff like that.
Yes, I understand that. I do. I get it. That being said, sneak attack does still exist, and it does still do an ass load of damage no matter what they try.
Do that. Like, yeah, sneak attack does decent damage. It's actually not that out of control.
At higher levels, it does it's like 16 d6 or something like that.
Yeah, but you always got to keep in mind, Rogue only has one attack, and if you miss, it's like, well, you know, so like it's not that crazy.
Yes, but also at higher levels, you can't miss as a rogue.
You can still miss.
You get your like stroke of luck thing, unless that's a short rest.
That doesn't apply. That doesn't apply to. I don't think you can use that on hits.
Yeah, you can. If you fail a D20 test.
Oh yeah, now you
tests.
can. Now you. I think wasn't it like saves and shit before? Oh no,
I think back in the day it was saves.
No, it wasn't. It was attacks. No? But also, that's only once. That's only one attack.
It's fine.
So you can miss. It's not like rogues are just have the no miss button.
No, I mean they have the once no miss button. That's an automatic crit. Like it's fine.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of damage for the one attack, and like that's kind of the rogue's thing. But that's it. Whereas allowing you to do that on the regular, you know, like they're trying to avoid the absolutely ludicrous paladin smite for 56,000 damage every other turn type shit.
Right. But even with this ability, you can only, like, if the damage is hitting more than one target, you can only increase the damage to the one target, hence the one damage roll.
What?
So it says add the total rolled to one damage roll of the spell. So they're not talking about one die of the spell, right? They're at like...
Yeah, all I'm saying is they're limiting how many I think the reason they limited how many hit dice you can pile on to the extra damage is because they don't want you to Nova out like crazy.
Right. And what I'm saying is that if you can only target one thing, you're not going to be able to Nova out that crazy.
It's still you're still doing a ton of damage on the one thing.
Right, but no more than like, for example, a rogue would be.
Right, but you could do this more reliably than the rogue can do the sneak attack.
That's not true. Rogues can do they can give themselves automatic advantage now by not moving.
Rogues can do it once a turn, but I'm like,
but you can only cast a spell once a turn as a sorcerer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
because they changed the way that the other thing worked. The one of the meta magics.
Yeah, well, they didn't change quicken spell, but there's also the multi-class problem, right? You gotta math this in with classing with a paladin and shit. Like, there's a lot of... I think they're just trying to make it so people can't do 100 damage in a single attack as much as they can. You know, they're just trying to dodge that problem. And yeah, I know the rogue has a pool of D6s. It is also worth pointing out that like a pool of D6s is not the most reliable bonus damage and shit. So, you know, there's a bit of a push and pull there.
Fine. Level 3, we get the Defiler spells from the Defiler spell table. You get blindness, deafness, inflict wounds, ray of enfeeblement, ray of sickness, bestow curse, vampiric touch, blight, hallucinatory terrain, anti-life shell, and contagion. These are awesome. I love these spells. Pretty much all of these I think are cool. So fuck it.
I mean,
well, not fuck it, but like run it.
It's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, sure, good spells, but like, I don't know, bonus spells never get my dick hard or anything.
For me, I like when they use the rare ones, like Contagion. You're like, oh, hell yeah, I haven't used that one in a while.
I mean, it helps, but it's just like, I don't know. The bonus spells thing has always been a design element that I'm like, nah, I don't like it.
I think it depends. Which one was it? I think it was Blade Singer that gives you haste, and you're like, hey, yo, a haste that I don't have to take, I can just have it for free 99. I'm gonna take that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's fun. Level 6, you get Corrupted Caster. You learn ways to tap into the corrupting magic within yourself, granting you the following benefits. You get Defiler's Ward. When you take a bonus action to transform sorcery points into a spell slot, you can wreathe your body in a protective web of defiling energy. Roll a number of d6s equal to the level of spell slot created. You gain temporary hit points equal to the total rolled. If a creature hits you with a melee attack roll while you have temporary hit points, the creature takes necrotic or poison damage, your choice, equal to your charisma modifier. Then you get Strengthened Rot. Damage dealt by your sorcerer spells and sorcerer features ignore resistance to necrotic and poison damage. Very nice. Good little ribbon.
Side note, I just... I get it, but I do think it's funny that it's like, by the way, your sorcerer spells ignore resistance to necrotic and poison. So it's like, they were like, we're gonna take the idea of magic damage out of the game, so you can't just ignore resistance all the time. But then we're gonna give everybody a bunch of abilities to ignore resistance all the time.
Yeah, look,
You're like, all right, I guess. Sure.
It's just another one of those where you go, right, okay, yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, it's just another case of like, guys, just fucking could have reassessed. You could have reassessed the system. I don't know.
Either the problem clearly wasn't that bad if you just recreated it all over again, maybe we should have just taken everything down from its roots and built it back up. Just maybe a 6th edition.
They didn't really mess with resistance and vulnerabilities and shit on any stat blocks, really.
I know. To my eternal fucking rage, it's the thing I wanted damn near more than anything else on monsters. I just wanted vulnerabilities and resistances across the board.
I don't know why it's not just, I always thought to myself, why is it not just a number? So like, let's say you have fire, because you know, it's like the reason they want to avoid it is because it's such a binary, right? But if you could just be like, oh, this monster has fire resistance 10, which means any incoming fire damage reduced by 10. This monster has fire resistance 20. This monster has fire resistance 50. Like, if you just made it a number, then you could have more granularity and then you could use it more. So like, zombies have necrotic resistance 5. They're not that resistant, but they're semi-resistant. Whereas the Skull Lord has necrotic resistance 50. So you're probably not going to do necrotic damage to him, but there's a chance, you know what I mean? And you can keep immune in there too. And then vulnerable would be the opposite, right? Vulnerable, like fire vulnerable 10 would just be 10 extra damage. I never understood why they didn't do it that way.
I guess the reasoning is because as a player, when you hit something that's vulnerable, just the hype of the double damage just be hitting.
I guess, but I feel like the hype of the double damage versus the hype of like 10 extra damage, like it's still there. You still are like, oh, we have a thing that it's weak to. We need to hammer it now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the tactical hype is still there.
The tactical hype is still there. Yeah, you're still figuring it out, but I just don't think it would hit as hard.
I guess. But sometimes
I think there's something very evocative to double damage.
But here's the other thing. Sometimes the double damage sucks because you rolled a 3. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there is that problem. It's
as
not
opposed to, right, because that's the thing, like double damage, like, okay, I rolled 3 damage, so it takes 6 damage, versus I rolled 3 damage, but it takes 10 extra damage no matter what I rolled. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So, like, yeah, I almost feel like the hype argument doesn't necessarily totally work either. Because you could roll shit number. That's the whole argument for doubling the damage of a crit, right? Like, sometimes it's fun, but sometimes you rolled 1 damage and then you do 2 damage. Wow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of thing. I don't know. I've always,
I don't either.
It's always bugged me with D&D, or well, with 5e at least. I actually have no idea how older editions handled it, if they even did.
They must have in some way, shape, or form. I'm just not entirely sure how. Level 14, you get your Withering Aura. When you use your innate sorcery, I had to look up what that did. An aura of defiling magic fills a 15-foot emanation originating from you while your innate sorcery is active, granting you the following benefits. Defiling Aura, I keep reading this so weird. Defiling Aura. When an enemy within the aura hits you with an attack roll,
aura? And then Defiling Shroud?
Sorry, yeah. Defiling Shroud.
Withering Aura. Withering Aura is the ability. Defiling Shroud is the subcategory.
When an enemy within the aura hits you with an attack roll, you can reduce that attack's total damage against you. The reduction equals your charisma modifier. Essence Siphon. When an enemy dies within the aura, you gain 1d4 sorcery points. Once you use this benefit, you can't regain sorcery points this way until you use innate sorcery again.
I like that you can give him the suck when he dies.
I think I would just prefer one sorcery point per kill. I think would be fun. Like, obviously, if you're fighting hordes, it'll get really busted, but that could also be fun because it's the one time where it'd be really busted versus everything else where you're killing like 2 or 3 things at a higher level, you know?
I guess that's true, yeah.
You could be a madman and just do sorcery points equal to challenge rating.
That would be out of control.
That would be so funny, dude. You fight one dragon, you down it, another dragon shows up, and you're like, well, you're in range now, buddy boy.
Yeah, no, definitely not. That would be too much.
A bit, yeah. I admit that'd be too much, but it would be funny. Level 18, you get Superior Defiler. Defile. I just think of the Bricky video tagline, Fortify. Level 18, Superior Defiler. You've perfected your ability to control and channel defiling magic, granting you the following benefits. Fueled Soul. You have immunity to the poisoned and exhausted conditions. Further defilement. The size of your Withering Aura increases to a 30-foot emanation. In addition, enemies cannot regain hit points while in your aura.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
You weren't kidding. They really did use the word defile too much. Goddamn.
Yeah. All right,
I didn't think about it until you pointed it out.
I'm gonna do a quick rundown. It's first time.
Oh, he's doing math. He shouldn't be doing that.
I shouldn't be doing math. It's too late. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Jesus.
9, 10. There's 10. They did 10 times on one page.
Nice.
I may have miscounted there because I was reading fast, but I think about 10.
I mean, if it's even close to 10, I love that.
Yeah. Finally, we get the worst named one here, Sorcerer King Patron Warlock. Your pact draws from the power of a monstrous tyrannical force akin to a demigod or an overwhelmingly powerful magic user. Through your pact, you herald this tyrant's interests in the world, channeling their influence in mind-bending psionic power. At level 3, you get the following spells. Command, Compel Duel, Hold Person, Mind Spike, Wrathful Smite. Fear, Sending, Compulsion, Staggering Smite, Dominate Person, Synaptic Static. Very cool.
Can I just point out, giving Compel Duel to the Warlock feels like a weird choice.
Yes, a little bit.
I don't feel like the Warlock's gonna use that.
Well, I don't think Compel Duel forces you to fight that person. I think you can choose who you're compelling.
I don't know, boss. One creature you can see within range makes a wisdom save. On a failed save, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you, and it can't willingly move to a space that is more than 30 feet away from you. I mean, yeah. I guess, I don't know, it just feels weird. Because I feel like the Warlock's going to be like, hit me in the face, and then immediately go the fuck down.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be like, ow, maybe not that hard.
It's, yeah.
But, you know.
It's a little weird. No, because I was just thinking about the semantics of it. Like, there's almost no situation where unless I'm playing a Blades Hexblade Warlock, that I want to get anywhere near melee combat with somebody.
No. Yeah, like I can't see any scenario where you'd want to.
Yeah, I just can't. First level, you get Tyrant's Herald. You gain the following benefits: Intimidating Presence. You gain proficiency in the Intimidation skill if you don't already have it. You also have expertise in Intimidation. Then you get Voice of Tyranny. You can cast Command as a bonus action without expending a spell slot. You can do so a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier, a minimum of once, and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. That's all right. Command's all right. At lower levels, it'll be better than it is at higher levels.
Command isn't like an amazing spell, but you can command someone to go prone. So, like, you can command them to go prone and then walk up and bonk them on the head for advantage. Mm-hmm. And you can also command... You can do halt, where the target doesn't move and takes no actions or bonus actions the next turn. So you can shut their turn down. Mm-hmm. And you can cast it as a bonus action with this with Voice of Tyranny. So it's actually not too bad. It definitely has some use.
It does, yeah. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not. I wouldn't even say it's bad. At low levels, I'd probably say it's perfectly fine.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily scale poorly or anything.
It's just... Well, no, I suppose not, because your save DC is constantly growing as you level up. So I guess it would be... Does Command require... Does Command have a monster type limitation? No? Okay, so it's better than I thought. I thought it may have. Nope. All right. At level 6,
you can also, at when you upcast it, you can you affect one additional creature for each spell slot. That's actually pretty... So, like, higher levels, you could be like... Level 5 command, I command 5 creatures to halt.
True.
As a bonus action. I'm actually, wait a minute, this is sounding better and better the more I'm thinking about it. Because it's a bonus action without expending your spell slot with the Voice of Tyranny ability. Mm-hmm. So you can tell 5 dudes they don't get a turn next turn. Right?
Does halt say that you lose an action?
On its turn, the target doesn't move and takes no action or bonus action.
Oh. That is really good. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You just shut them fuckers down. You're like, nope. You get no turn. Yeah. Anyway.
At level 6, you get your Decisive Edict. Your patron's power surges through you, allowing you to rally your allies and subjugate your enemies. When you cast this spell using a Pact Magic spell slot, you can cause profane power to erupt in a 30-foot emanation originating from you. For each creature you can see in the emanation, choose one of the following effects. Martial, the creature has advantage on attack rolls until the end of its next turn. Oppress, the creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or have the frightened condition to the end of its next turn. Once you use this feature, you cannot do so until you finish a short or long rest. You gain uses when you use the magical cunning feature.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like the martial one I'm just gonna always pick.
Yes, correct. I
don't see, because the thing about the frightened is they have to fail the save, whereas
they have to fail the save.
Whereas the martial, it's like the homies just get advantage. That's it.
They also have to be susceptible to frightened in the first place, a lot of them are not. So, you know.
Yeah.
At level 10, you get your Vindictive Rebuke. You learn to rebuff those who challenge you or the might of your patron. When an enemy hits you with an attack roll, you can take a reaction to force the enemy to re-roll the d20, and the enemy must use the new roll. If this reaction turns the attack roll into a miss, the triggering creature takes psychic damage equal to your warlock level. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. This is one of the only abilities where I'm like, I can kind of see the psionic in here because of psychic damage, but like even then, not much.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one.
Yeah, it seems like a little out of place, but like, sure.
It's Hellish Rebuke with psychic damage, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. Level 14, you get Absolute Tyranny. You wield your patron's tyrannical might with absolute conviction. When you cast Command, you can target one additional creature within the spell's range. Additionally, a frightened creature by you, a creature frightened by you automatically fails its saving throw against any command you cast.
Yeah, this one just doesn't feel like it's going to be worth it.
No, because again, things at that level are just going to ignore frightened.
Not going to be frightened, yeah. And the one additional creature is nice, but it's not that big of a deal as a level 14 ability.
Yeah, nah.
Like, yeah, I get it. You can command like 6 dudes at once, but yeah, it's like most of them are at the higher level. It's like they're probably gonna save unless you can get them frightened, but slim chance.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's all of them.
I do love the idea of being like, command, halt. No, you just don't get to do anything. I just said no.
Yeah, you just look at them and go, no.
That is kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, the halt is pretty crazy. I didn't think about that.
Again, though, this Warlock, again, doesn't really pass the sniff test of, like, I don't get any character ideas when I read it.
Oh, I do. I think, for me, this is one of those multi-class ones where it's like, I want to do a Barbarian and then take some levels in this.
I guess, yeah.
Because you're really just flexing your muscles at people and they're just doing what you say.
Yeah, but I always think about, anytime I'm thinking of subclasses, I always think about them as just a pure class. I don't really account for multi-class. I'm just looking at it by itself usually.
Oh,
and like, I don't know. I'd have a hard time trying to figure out what kind of, like, I don't know, sorcerer king? Like, I don't even know what to... Like, the name doesn't even really invoke any ideas for me.
Yeah, no.
It's a very weird name. Like, I don't know what kind of patron would be like a sorcerer king, you know? Again, if I knew Dark Sun better, maybe this would make more sense.
Well, I mean, I think you can think of like a crazy magic emperor person who's like giving you some power. I think you can like think of like your Gwyn from Dark Souls or
yeah, but that immediately gives me like Lich vibes or something like that, you know? And I feel like a lot of those types of characters I could apply to other patrons, you know? Like, oh, what if it's a fairy king? Oh, archfey. Oh, what if it's like a Lich king or something? Okay, undead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's easy to slap other patrons. So it'd be hard for me to be like mage king guy who doesn't fall into any other category.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't. I'm sure I could think of something, but it just doesn't. Nothing coming to me.
Fair enough. I think
they're fine.
You know, overall, I think I liked them a little more than I did when I read them today. As we talked about, I think I liked them a little bit more. I think in terms of rank, I'd probably have to say Gladiator, Sorcerer, Gladiator, Defiler, Defiled Sorcerer, Sorcerer King, and then Preservation at the bottom. I just don't think that one's very good.
No, the Preservation sucks. I do like that they're throwing in some other mechanical stuff that they didn't play with as much in the past, like the fact that the Sorcerer uses hit dice is cool. And I think the Gladiator had something that keyed off Bloodied.
Yes.
Somewhere.
Yes, its final ability. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mutilate.
Yes. Yeah, when you hit a bloodied creature. So like, I do like that they were throwing in a little bit of extra stuff, but like, do it more. You know,
I would like that more. Yeah.
Like, we're doing a little bit of it. Like, let's get more. Let's get more creative uses of like hit dice and bloodied and shit like that, and get me weird effects with like weapon. Again, this is one of those things. This is a big thing for me that 5e doesn't ever want to do, and I feel like they should do. 5e doesn't ever like to replace abilities, right? So the idea. Sorry, my cat's up over there causing trouble. The idea of like weapon mastery, for example. Let's say, I don't know, take the Vex or Sap, which gives your opponent disadvantage. It's like, you gain, it's like, you take the Sap weapon mastery property and, you know, remove, well, weapon masteries are a bad example because they're pretty short effects, but like that, it's the thing where, like, for example, I always say for Ranger, right? For me, if I were making Ranger, I would make default Ranger be the pet class, and then the subclasses you take, some certain subclasses would remove the pet and replace it with a different ability. And 5e is always afraid to do the remove and replace thing, but I feel like if they did that, they could get some more wacky woohoo shit. So, like, for example, maybe like the hit dice. You take the Defiler Sorcerer or something like that. And it's like, you don't have hit dice. Instead, you have like life essence dice. Your hit dice are replaced with this other kind of die thing. And with these other kind of die thing, you could do X, Y, and Z, but it doesn't key off of hit dice based ability because it's not a hit die. You know, like shit like that. Get a little, push the boundaries. Come on, guys. You could do it. I'm probably asking too much, I know, but I don't know.
For Wizards, yeah, maybe a little bit.
I know. It's just one of those thoughts. But yes, give me more we're using Bloodied a little bit. We're using hit dice a little bit. Like, keep going. Come on, you're so close. I'm almost there. Just don't stop edging me. Or stop edging me. Stop edging me. Stop
Chad,
edging me.
He's edging.
He's edging. Yeah. Stop
Chad,
edging
he's
me.
gooning.
Jesus Christ. But you know what you shouldn't stop doing?
Fucking Christ.
Following us on social media. You shouldn't stop doing that.
Oh my God.
You should do that.
Sure, yeah, you should do that and
Yeah, you should do that.
do the things with the thing, yeah. I got yelled at when I asked you to do more than one thing, so go do the thing with the thing.
Sure, that's vague enough.
Yeah.
Chad, he's gooning.
Chad, he's gooning. He's gooning.
I guess that's
Right.
where I'm gonna leave things.
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. Peace, motherfuckers. I'm out.